Swarupananda Paramamsa Namine Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prestayate Sira Swarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prestayate Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayanya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayanya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayanya Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Garadhara Shiva Sadeko Bhakta Vrinda Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana 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 Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana 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 Mohana. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga. Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Srila Swarup, Ananda Paramahamsa. Jaya Jaya Srila Swarup, Ananda Paramahamsa. Namo Srila Swarupananda, Paramahamsa Namine, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prestaya Te.
For almost a year, and for all those years we've been together, the discussion is centered around how we can be experiencing in our life real fulfillment that is eternal, satisfying, and what we're longing for. But to be able to come to the point of this experience, or to be situated in this situation, one must understand clearly one's natural essence as life, living, someone who loves, someone who relates. So the subject matter we are always discussing is about how we can be connected with the will, or in short, to be able to do the will of God. So that's the bottom line, okay? So when this pandemic came, everybody, majority of us, were put in a situation wherein you cannot move around. You're, in a way, restricted to go around to protect yourself, not to be contaminated, or to be polluted by this virus. Okay? So in Shastra, this world is described as a planet of death. The rising and the setting of the sun decreases one's life duration in this body. So we have understood clearly, not theoretically, that we are a different energy from matter. So during this pandemic time, wherein they call it, what do they call it? New normal? Yeah? So everybody is just, they just stay put in their house, you know? But the problem is that the living entity, us, we're active by nature. And what confines us? In short, to be imprisoned. Because prior to the pandemic, we are already imprisoned by this body. We're under the laws of material nature. You know, this body is a machine influenced under the control of material nature. So during the pandemic time, you can see that when children come to school, they have different, you know, how they try to portray themselves with their looks, you know. I've seen someone here whose hair is really straight before, you know. And when she arrives, I'm wondering how come it's all, what do they do that? They call it in Philippines, trenzas. Wow, how do they, what do they call that in, how do they describe that in English? You tie knots, yeah? Or your hair. And braid the hair. You know, she has really thick hair, but during the pandemic time, you know, she's just in one place, looking at the mirror, trying to braid that hair, you know, into hundreds of braids, you know. Yeah? So the meditation, the focus is about her looks, yeah? So she puts so much effort in putting time, yeah? And some guys also, they're able to grow their hair and then they dye it, you know? And they see in the movies, like they see this guy who's really cool with, what's this? He's wearing this jacket with, you know, nobody knows him, you know, as if, really, no, in reality, nobody sees you. You just see your body, okay? So he's now in prison, you know. Nobody sees me. But in reality, nobody sees you. They just see your body, okay? So my point is this, we've been imprisoned in this material world for so long. And the process of yoga system, especially the yoga sound, is to cut off the shackles or the anchor that pins us down or puts us in a situation where we cannot move. And the first basic realization must be understanding our identity. So when you understand your identity, that you're not the body, and for so long you've been stuck in this world, you're always searching for happiness. But the experience you are experiencing, all of you here have experienced are the sensual pleasures, okay? So it's all connected to sensual activities, eating, sleeping, feeling, everything, Just like when a person is in a comfortable situation, he drinks beer, watch movie, He's just there sitting down. His belly is already full, But he's still feeling there's something lacking, He stands, goes to the refrigerator, and just open it. He stares at the refrigerator, with all the food that is inside the refrigerator. But his stomach is full, then he stands there, like he's mesmerized. Because the mind has been focused, driving this person to engage in activities to fulfill the senses, the drive of the senses, and the desire in the mind. So he's shackled, he's imprisoned. So we are all in prison with this ignorance of our true identity. And the activities we do in search for happiness is directed upon a different energy matter. So you can understand that clearly. So is it clear? So when a person is confined to a place, a prison house, and he doesn't know his true identity, he just sits down there, look at his face, look at his nails, cut all the, and he thinks, why, there's some coloring, everything, and they smile, there's something lacking with my teeth. So they call the dentist, can you put some, brace, because it's in, It's all about this body. Yeah, it's all about this body. And this body is the source of pain. The experience you experience through the senses is very flickering, the enjoyment. So when you're so much engrossed, when you're ignorant of your true identity, you don't know who you are, your search for happiness will be directed upon the forms of this world. It will be very natural for you to be focused and try to achieve that pleasure or that comfort or that refuge, because you identify with the body, you follow the mind, and it will be focused upon trying to following the senses, fulfilling that longing for happiness through the senses, guided by the mind. So the process of yoga sound is to free us from this imprisonment. Because the living entity who is in this body, now me, I'm driving this body, I'm influenced by the three modes of material nature. There's natural, like for example, you're in a woman's body. It's natural for you to long for a child. Yeah? It's natural for you. When there's because that's the built up your body. So when a person is in the mode of passion and he understands his nature, he's into, he wants to become a soldier, he wants to protect the country, So it's all about the dictates of material nature. So the yoga sound helps us that what we're longing for, what we are meditating, what we're focusing, guided by the mind, the desire in the mind, must become purified. What is that purification? It is a direction of the mind guided by God, the holy names, that will purify the mind, draw the mind away from matter. Because for so long, our focus is upon this dead world. So don't ever think, don't ever think you're gonna make it, you're gonna be really happy and fulfilled. Because the medium or the avenue you're trying to focus, the medium, this body, this field of activity, and the avenue and all those sensual flickering enjoyment to be tasted by the senses will be the shackle or will be the anchor, because that is your meditation. You are the body, I follow the senses, I follow the mind. You're not able to distinguish between you and your mind. And your intelligence now is guided by ignorance. You're ignorant of your true identity. That's why when one is fortunate enough, he comes in contact with the representative of God. And through the representative of God, who is a seer of the truth, teaches us, guides us, so we can see. So we can see with a purified intelligence. So the process of yoga sound is to purify the intelligence. Because now our intelligence is to, get something. You use it, your intelligence, how you can manipulate, how you can use, you think you're smart, because our intelligence, when it's contaminated, it's desire-driven, the mind is desire-driven, and we use that faculty of our intelligence to fulfill what the mind tells us. The desires, we follow. With a promise, we're gonna get it. So we engage in so many activities, to be able to get it. Just for example, as we have described, when the living entity, for example, you're in a woman's body, you want to have someone or get someone to love you, to love you, okay? So you see that person, he's just passing by, you see him every day. So you engage now in activities or perform activities that will attract that person will be attracted to every move you do. You portray your body in a way that is really, it's what you need, okay? The looks, the sound, everything that is really conducive to, get that person to follow what you want. So you use your intelligence. But there is a science that will help us become free from these shackles. It is a meditation centered around and focused around what is transcendental, and that transcendental is not what we follow through the dictates of the senses. It is based upon our longing for happiness, for fulfillment that is eternal, and the refuge we want to be really transcendental or unmoving, a shelter like an experience that you're standing on a solid platform that will never be taken away from where you stand. That's just an analogy, So when you are given this opportunity to come in contact with the yoga sound and you chant it, it is not by your power that you become purified. It is through the sound, because that sound is the supreme purifier. So when you chant the holy names of God, the first experience, you will become purified from this misgiving, false bodily identification. Your intelligence becomes purified, because now, through the guidance of God, you now use your intelligence, this body, which has been the shackle, which has been the anchor, with what is inseparable from the body, death and suffering, because you identify with it. So you begin to, although you're covered by this body, you're the person, you're able to distinguish between you and the machine. You watch it. You get a cut, there's pain, You give your heart, you meditate upon someone, you try to take refuge, experience fulfillment through through her love, to her service, to her whatsoever, it does not satisfy you. You're always worried. You're always worried because when a person intelligence is not purified and directed upon this material world, he experienced this feeling, anxiety. What if I don't get what I want? Yeah? And because you're not the supreme controller, definitely you'll be always worried. And then you work so hard. You make ways how to get it. Then you get it. Now you're in anxiety now that what if you lose it? And definitely you're going to lose it because at the time of that you're going to lose it. Or that person makes a decision to leave you. Or what happens, you invest so much in, like during the time, people in, in Lebanon, before the war in Lebanon, they invested so much. The families are there, and then there's war, So all the investment, the buildings, the money, everything, the security that they put themselves in work, their body in work, and meditated upon it, and contemplated upon it, and engaged in activities to get it to be stable in that situation. War comes. They're driven out from that place. Everything that they have invested is gone. Okay? For example, now, COVID time. A lot of individuals who are in this situation also, they put so much time in trying to get so many things, put their effort into trying to experience this goodness wherein, a place that's really cool, heavenly, and then you get inflicted by this virus, destroy your lungs, and you experience leaving the body now. And while leaving the body, you're experiencing pain because you cannot breathe. But if you identify yourself with the body, what will happen is that you'll be thinking, I'm dying. I cannot breathe. But the yogi is able to distance himself, although he experienced it just like he knows, because he experienced the feeling that the fire that he touched will burn the skins because there's sensation. He experienced the sensation. Who is experiencing the sensation? You. Yeah? So, understand that? So what happened is that when a person becomes purified, he's able to see separation within himself, and he is able to understand that what puts him in a situation wherein he's experiencing pain is his identification with the source of pain, the body. Okay? But you're not the body. So how can we come to that point? So the process is explained by Lord Krishna. It begins with the purificatory process of the yoga sound coming from the spiritual master. He comes because the Supreme Purifier purifies us. So all what we have to do is hear this yoga sound, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, or innumerable names of God, and the meditation of the mind, the focus now will be directed and are through focusing upon the holy names. And the senses, now the ears, everything that has encumbered us, this body, will now be focused now upon our true identity. We use this body to connect ourselves with the yoga sound, and it will cut off the shackle and the anchor that encumbers us. Because prior to achieving this realization and this experience, the focus is upon the shackles of materialism. How does it happen? Through sense perception, one begins to contemplate. You know what's contemplate? To imagine, contemplate, focus. Every day, contemplate, and then he acts upon it. Okay? For example, one of the senses. You pass by here before the COVID. People are selling their fishbowl, You can smell it from your room. Your nose, fishbowl. And then your tongue drips with saliva. I like it. You identify with the body, And the mind will tell you, go for it. But what if the grade 12 and the grade 11 goes out first and I come out, they finish all the fishbowl. You're anxious, you know? Because your meditation is following the dictates of the mind and the senses. But when you become realized with this wisdom, your intelligence is purified, then that is the perfection of what yoga is, union with God. You become detached, the shackles being cut off. Because the meditation now is what is inseparable from you, what you're longing for. Joy and happiness, love, you need a friend, an eternal friend. So during COVID times, those individuals who are ignorant, their meditation is upon their body. Me, mine, me. So they look at the mirror, they look, you know, and the mind will tell them, oh, why don't you look at the mind, you use the gadgets you have, and then you look at YouTube or Facebook, oh, they're selling something, you don't need to go out, you know, you just text them, they deliver the object that your mind tells you that will satisfy you. Either it's pizza, cake, whatsoever, no? And then you text them, email them, and then it's come. So you're being driven by the mind. And when you're in false bodily identification, definitely you'll be servant of the senses. Because the horses will be the ones driving you. And the mind, which you are not in reign, will be following all the dictates of the senses. So that is the entanglement that the living entity is so encumbered. It's a prison. Everybody's in prison with their consciousness. You don't need to go to prison. You're already in prison. You're in this body now. And you're in prison with this force of ignorance, the three modes. So how to get out of this prison house? There's a key, you know. So how do we get out of this prison house? It's like when you're in prison, for example, your situation now, all of us. I'm in this body now, so if I live in this body for 60 years or 70 years, so I'll be in prison in this body, you know. Now, if I don't get parole, you know what's parole? Or if you have still material desires, when you leave this body, you engage in karmic action, as you sow, you shall reap. Then you will, a certain activity leads to a certain consciousness, and a certain consciousness, you know, leads to certain activities. And we are responsible for our action. There are laws here, the laws of karma. As you sow, you shall reap. So, instead of being paroled and becoming free, while you're in prison, then you leave the body, you go back to prison house. Okay? Understand that? So how to get out of this prison? So it's like this. I'll give analogy. When you're drowning the ocean, Pacific Ocean or Atlantic Ocean, drowning, you know, the sharks are there, and you try to struggle, you know, you have a life, you know, struggle to swim, and you're drowning, you know. So you come in contact with someone who's in this boat that doesn't sink, and he's there telling you, why don't you hold my hand, ride this boat? No. But you're there, you know, you have this experience, you know, you've been embracing the sharks, you know, you go inside the mouth of this big giant fish, you know, the whales, you know, you've been, you know, embracing, you know, all this octopus, and, you know, you don't even have an iota of what is real happiness. But because the nature of the living entity is, we are active and we're longing for happiness and joy, inseparable from us. So when you are in false bodily identification and ignorance, you don't know what is real happiness. The experience you want to experience is all what is in this jailhouse. Yeah? And the activities you do will be the anchor that will shackle you. You'll not be given parole. For example, you're in prison for 60 years, then, there's a parole for the senior citizen. You go out of the jail. But the activities you do, you don't follow. You are in your meditation upon this body. As you sow, you shall reap. Whatever state of mind you remembers at the time you leave this prison house, you come back again this prison house, if that is your meditation. If you're in false bodily identification, it means the activities you do, you're responsible for it. Karma, the laws of karma, good or bad. Then you have to experience good or bad. You have to have a body, and this body will be the anchor that is inseparable from death. You'll be shackled. So it means you're helpless. But the mind, you think you're free. You sing, born free as the pigs. No, you're not free. You're in prison. You're blind. You're not all right. We are not all right. We're in this prison house. How can we get out? With wisdom. And what is that wisdom? Understanding our true transcendental relationship with God. That we are eternally His loving servant, and our activities should be engaged in pure loving devotional service. When one is in ignorance of his identity, the center or the focal point of his life is him. But you're not all powerful. You'll be under the jurisdiction of the laws of material nature. And then you're going to suffer. You cannot get out of this jail. So now, I'd like to discuss something. There's still time. But we'll discuss it on Monday kasi sa lansan. So, as through the lives of Arjuna, through the lives of those who follow this process, like for example, Mrigari, the hunter, his life is centered around his anger towards other living entities. That is meditation, putting pain to others. But when he came to know and met Narada Muni, and Narada Muni told him, you follow this process because the world or the activities you're engaging in will be a very hard life for you in the future. You're going to experience the reaction of what you're doing. As you sow, you shall reap. Okay? And what can I do to become free? And he tells him, cut off the anchor. That is the shackle of all the sinful activities you're engaging in, that you're suffering. What is that? Break your bow. Throw your arrows. What will I do? Then here, chant the holy names. How can I live? Don't worry about that. The holy names is self-sufficient. He's Krishna. The holy names is the all in all, the source of living and non-living. But because Narada Muni is someone who has this transcendental potency, his affection, his love for the Supreme Person, he's the representative of God. He's able to influence this person through his mercy, through his guidance. Meaning, Narada Muni, the spiritual master, decides you will be free. Just follow this process. So he followed the process. He took shelter of God through the instruction of Narada Muni. Okay? He succeeded. When he went home, the community, the Mrigari is now a devotee. So they go visit a saintly person. They bring a lot of present. And what Mrigari do now is that there's so much, he distributes it as prasadam to everyone. He just takes what is needed for his body's upkeep and his family. This happens in many instances wherein the devotee follows the instruction of God. He's free from this shackle. Okay? For example, we're always discussing Bali Maharaj. Bali Maharaj, a great Vaishnava, the grandson of Prahlad Maharaj. What is his shackle? What is his anchor? He's thinking, I own this great power. He controls the universe. Lower, middle, planetary system is under his control. It's very powerful. So when Krishna took mercy upon him, to show us what activities a devotee of someone who is connected with God's love, with God's will. So Lord Brahmana came in the form of a dwarf, and he offered obeisances and worshiped the Brahmana, but his supposedly spiritual teacher, Sukracharya, tells him, this person is not different. He's God, playing that role of a Brahmana. You follow him, he takes away everything from you. And Bali Maharaj said, so great, the anchor, the shackle will be taken away from him. Anyway, it will be taken away from me after a while. Because at the time, at the time I leave this body, or at the time it will come, it will be taken away from me. Now it's great because it will be taken away from me, the shackle. And what is he keeping that is not taken away from him? What? His focus, his relationship with Lord Krishna. With Lord Krishna, that protects him. His truthfulness, his vow that when Lord Krishna asks him, I just want 3 steps of your land, his promise will never be broken. He makes a stand. That is his life. That is his meditation. He's under the shelter of the Supreme Person, transcendental to the shackle and encumberment. You see? Now you're given this opportunity, all of us in Kali Yuga. In your life, you have many issues. Your mind is attached to your boyfriend, to your girlfriend, attached to the dog, to the pig. You're attached to this world. And it's hard because you're in prison. How are you in prison? Because of your meditation, because of what you think under the influence of material nature. And you identify with it. You identify with the pleasure. Because you want it. You're longing to satisfy what you're longing for, and if it's in ignorance, it's not based upon your true eternal nature as transcendental, a different energy, then no need for you to ever think that you'll get out of this jail because your focus, you're already shackled. Okay? So what is freedom then? Freedom then is to be connected with what is transcendental, our true transcendental nature. So you want to experience this pain. You'll experience fulfillment. So that's why the process given to us by the spiritual master, he plants the seed in your heart. So you come in contact with the holy names. This seed of bhakti, love, that has been forgotten. We don't even know what love is. We don't know what love is. We equate love with sex. Blood has nothing to do with love. Love is inseparable from us. It is what we're longing for, the joy to render service. That is what real religion is. That's what spiritual life is. But if you're ignorant of that, then you will be driven by the horses through different direction. And you'll be listening from also those people who are in jail, who are sentenced seclusion perpetua already there. Because they identified themselves as the body. They're thinking they're God. Like this impersonalist demon who tells everybody that you are God and I am God. No? So, if you're intelligent, and you say, we are all one, then you ask the question, why do you have to talk to me? You are God and I am God, we're one, then your thoughts will be mine. Diba? Are you stupid? You're crazy, man. I think you're crazy. You should not be here in this jailhouse, but in a mental hospital, but with shackles in the jailhouse also. Okay? So this ignorance of our true identity shackles us. And the spiritual master, out of his love for us, Krishna's love, because Lord Krishna loves us eternally. And what is eternal is our love, our search for joy. And this yoga process, Bhakti Yoga, is the science, the art of connecting ourselves with the will in harmony with God's pleasure. So that is the science you're engaging in now, the chanting of the Maha Mantra. Because in this age of Kali Yuga, that is only the process that will connect us with this transcendental world. Not by your own power, God himself descending. Just like the sun comes, the sun comes, everything lights up. We have this energy, the light. You don't see the electricity because your eyes are You cannot see electricity, but now you can see through the glow of the sun, the energy of the sun coming to all of this. So when you come in contact with the seer of truth, he can teach you. And now, how can you see? He gives you a process that your intelligence will become purified. He gives us a process that we can now direct the mind with what is transcendental, our true eternal transcendental nature as eternally the loving servant of God. So the reason we're in this jailhouse, because, we're pelons. You know what's pelon? We're criminals. Everything animate or inanimate that is within the universe is owned and controlled by God. Knowing well to whom they belong, one should use only the quota that is allotted to him. So you don't own anything. Your wife doesn't belong to you. Your husband doesn't belong to you. Your son doesn't belong to you. But in false conception, you think my son, my child, my wife, No, nothing belongs to you. Everything belongs to someone. And that someone is material nature. And material nature is the wife of Lord Krishna. So when we become purified from this misgiving, this ignorance, then we can now focus our life that at the time we leave this jailhouse, there's no more, you don't need parole anymore because you're already free. It's already decided. What's decided? When your heart, or your love, your whole being is in harmony with the will of God. That is Jesus Christ's life's example. That is the life example of Mrigari. You see how the prostitute, when she came to put Haridas Thakur into shackles, to be able to put him down by all these demons. What is their motivation? They're motivated with lust, anger, and greed. So they use now a medium which everybody is attracted in this world. The highest pleasure that everybody experiencing this world, is sexual pleasure. And they work so hard out for the rest of their life just to experience this, So they use this prostitute with this intention to shackle Haridas Thakur. But because Haridas Thakur is transcendental to the three modes of material nature, it's like, what do they call that? He's insulated. But there's this, you know what the policemen use when they go fight the soldiers? What do they use that? Teflon, not anymore this metal as big, heavy that you cannot carry it. There's this Teflon. It's like t-shirt like that, but the bullet cannot come in, He's insulated from that because he's in a different world. So when the prostitute came, Haridas Thakur sees that person as a child of God. He's transcendental to all this material conditioning. So the medium they're using to put Haridas Thakur, it did not touch him. But simply what manifests is the purity of his love and compassion, his harmony in doing the will of God, to care. So what manifested is his love and compassion upon that person. And through his association, that person had a change of heart. She became purified. So that's why it's very important to associate with saintly person. Association with saintly person. How do you associate with saintly person? When you come in contact with him, he gives you this instruction. Chant the holy names. None different from the will of God. So my point I like to discuss is one thing also, is this. When we get together, supposedly individuals, even disciples of Srila Prabhupada, should use a process that is transcendental, that will not encumber a living entity, to be shackled in this material world. So if a person follows really, because you're initiated disciple of Srila Prabhupada, he gives you instruction. The chanting of the holy name gives you instruction. Then you will be in a situation you can understand. Yes. Why will I interfere with people who are also practicing? and be very thinking sanctimoniously, I will drive their life. When the driver should be Krishna, transcendental, his instruction. No? So, if a person is making advancement in spiritual life, then what will happen is that they will not even think about it or propose about it. So we can be shackled in this world by their material consideration. You understand? Material consideration. So what made them think of if they really achieve that state of Haridas Thakur or Bali Maharaj? Supposedly, they won't even talk about it. You know? About letting you sign contract, you know? Why? These are all material consideration. Putting shackles upon someone. Why not follow the instruction of Narada Muni? Harinama. So it means, if you are making or doing something to control people, to bring them, to enlighten them, to uplift them, to connect them with God, then you must check first yourselves. Because if you are really making advancement in spiritual life, you will understand that everything that is happening is under God's control. And the living entity who comes in contact with the spiritual master has now a choice to follow his instruction, to be liberated, to be free from these shackles. You know what you should do? If you're really advanced, you're really a purified, transcendental person, well, then we plead to you, please be merciful upon us. Save us. Not let us sign contract. Please, please, please. You understand? So spiritual life is achieving in reality. It's like you're thirsty, there's water there. The spiritual master tells you, there's an oasis there. You can jump, drink the water. The point is this, the taste of the pudding is in the eating. You're hungry, there's so much food there, you're just there looking. It's like this. There's this bakery, okay? So much food. The spiritual master comes. Okay? You're all hungry, looking for happiness. And he opens the door. Why don't you come in and eat? But you're just there watching. Why? Because you're imprisoned with material consideration. Your impulse bodily identification. You're influenced by the three modes of material nature. And you're not able to engage in activities in harmony with God through the guidance of the spiritual master. That what nature you have can be transcendental, and that is connected with the 9 process of devotional service. Hearing, chanting, remembering, engaging in activities, surrendering. So I mean, this body I can use now in the service of God. I can be in harmony with the laws of God. And what is that law? It's the law of love. Will you steal someone from someone you love? Will you use someone, exploit your other God's children, whom you know is your brother and sister? That will happen when you are contaminated with ignorance, false bodily identification, because your search for happiness will be directed by the mind and the senses. You'll see everybody here as an object to consume and eat. Then you engage in simple activity. This science is a science of freedom, and it comes with the yoga sound. So, chant the holy names, that's all. Let Krishna do everything, be the driver of our life. But you want to follow your mind? You want to be the driver of your life? You will be driven by the mind. You will be driven by desire, misdirected upon this world. And then you're shackled eternally, experiencing birth, death, disease, and old age, unhappiness, loneliness. You'll get lost, you'll go crazy. Because you're not in harnessing the mind, harnessing the senses, and not focusing upon the direction which is eternal and transcendental. You, the living entity, searching for happiness and joy. It should be connected with the source of joy, with the relationship with God. Our mind is so focused upon relationship this world. My child, my girlfriend, my boyfriend, my looks. How do I look? My hair. You're none of this, none of the above. Lord Chaitanya was asked by someone, who are you? Are you a Brahmana? Are you a sannyasi? Who are you? Neither, he said. I'm eternally the loving servant of the maidservant, of the maidservant, of the maidservant of Radha and Krishna. I'm the servant of my Gurudev, who is none different from the Supreme Person. My heart is anchored upon God's will. That's his life. That's why his meditation, his consciousness, it's clearly explained by him. Oh my Lord, I have no desire to enjoy beautiful women. I have no desire for material wealth. I have no desire to have numbers of followers of mine. My only desire is to be engaged in your loving service. And his consciousness described on him, feeling the absence of Lord Krishna, I'm feeling empty in this world. But his activities are centered around the chanting of the holy names. It's not what people do. I am sinful. I'm sinful. I just engage in simple activity. No. His happiness is based upon freedom. So you want to become free, follow the path of parampara, a world that is different from this prison house. Okay? So think about it. You want to eat nails, to drink poison, to get chopped up, to be in prison. Now you're in prison. How you want to get out of this? And everybody's going out crazy. I'm crazy. I'm crazy for you. Who are you crazy for? You're crazy in this ignorance. You're thinking you're the body and you're following the senses. You're going to suffer. So it's not for me to judge you whatsoever, because your activities, your consciousness, activities you do will decide your life, will decide your happiness. It will be the deciding factor. So the spiritual master gives us this process. He tells us, the taste of the pudding is in the eating. You chant the holy names, you become purified. Krishna takes care of you. That is the science of the yoga sound. Krishna's embrace. That is bhakti yoga. And then when you make progress, you're going to long for it. You're going to think about it. The mind, whenever the mind is not thinking of Krishna, you become anxious. Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. It's not a struggle anymore to think about Krishna, because Krishna manifests. What manifests in your mind? When you chant the holy names, Krishna dance on your lips. Your mind, you're thinking of the pastimes of Krishna. You see Krishna every day. You see the child of Krishna. And you begin to see your issues that have put you here. Your attraction to this material world. The activities you did. You misuse your love. Activities that entangled you. Taking drugs, giving love to someone, becoming attached to this world. These are issues that you've been engaging in years eternally. Then it doesn't matter. For Krishna tells us, Krishna assures us, though engaged in all kinds of activities, my devotee, under my protection, reaches the eternal and imperishable abode by my grace. So what happened to the prostitute? She became a devotee. She felt in her heart, I'm sinful, I'm lost. And in front of him is Haridas Thakur. Please forgive me. What happened to Migari? He felt in his heart, I'm gonna suffer. And this person is caring. He loves me. He's telling me, break your bow, throw your arrows, because that will be the shackle and connection to this world. And your meditation of survival will be based upon your own endeavor. Let Krishna take care of you. Let Krishna take care of you. You just chant the holy name. Look at Bali Maharaj. He temporarily owned the universe. But when Krishna came, what connects him with Lord Krishna is his love, his affection, his surrender. He makes a stand. So when a person comes in contact, many disciples of Srila Prabhupada comes in contact with the instruction of Srila Prabhupada, it's not for those conditioned living entity who are initiated, conditioned under the modes of material nature, to make decision where they can connect their heart. What if those individuals have decided to make a stand, to give their life, to do what is pleasing to the Supreme Person, that their life's connection is simply doing the will of God, and what gives them pain is when they're displeasing to God. So what made you think that the contract you're gonna let them sign will connect them? This is nonsense. You should not even think about it, but rather follow the instruction of Lord Krishna. Because our spiritual master, Lord Krishna, showed us our true nature. If you don't serve, love the Supreme Person, you follow your will, you'll be shackled in this world. But still, you'll be servant. But I'm just waiting here to embrace you. So enough of this. You're not the supreme controller. We follow God. I only follow God. I give my life to God, to His representative. None other than that. Okay? So that should be our life, to do the will of God. Just like Nrigari, he followed Narada Muni. His life now is sheltered, surrendered upon the instruction of God. The prostitute, she took shelter of the representative of God, the Namacharya, Haridas Thakur. Bali Maharaj, he took shelter of Lord Krishna in front of him. He connected his life to do his will, to be truthful, to be loyal. So what made you think that those individuals who comes to the holy names with the supreme purifier chanting their holy names will not come to that point? You don't even think about it, So don't waste our time, Rather, you should be focusing about yourself. Look at yourself. Are you really in a state of what is being discussed in Bhagavad Gita? Because, you're given that opportunity. We're all given that opportunity among these people here. So the choice should be yours to make the right decision. And responsibility should be taken to be responsible to do the will of God. Is that clear to all of you? So it's your call now. It's not my call anymore because it will be a deciding factor for your success, for your freedom to get out of this jail. Haribol Namaste.
Namo Siddha Swarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prastayate Namo Siddha Swarupananda Haribol Nitai Gaur Haribol Krishna Nayanya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayanya Nanda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasade Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasade Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Gopala Govinda Rama Haribol Nitai Gaur Haribol Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana Haribol 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 Krishna Haribol